from his family.
Was out on the field pretty much the whole entire
What's
first
up?
half.
It's your boy,
Got a lot of great
Mayhem
games.
Matthews.
I'm highlighting
I
two
thought he was
SEC
going to
games.
Anyway, what's up, guys? It's your boy, Mayhem Matthews. What's up, guys? It's your boy, Mayhem Matthew.
How much of that? How much of that did they hear during the intro? I don't even know what you said because all I could hear is the music playing, and all I heard from you was, "What's up, guys? It's your boy Mayhem Matthew." And I saw you were unmuted, and I was like, "Is he seriously talking over the intro here? What is happening?"
You're gonna have to rewatch it. What happened? All right, guys, we totally. This is a W stream already. Okay.
Oh, great.
So at the beginning of the stream, I thought he was going to play the intro, and then on my side there was no intro. He was just staring at me, so I was like, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go.
You didn't get the intro on your end? Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. It
And
played
then-
on my side.
Yeah,
for
you were just
sure,
staring. You were just staring at me. I'm like, I don't know.
as if to say, Mayhem, that's your cue.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways,
This is a W stream already, bro. Let's
If
go.
you-
Let's just get into it.
if you like this content, please smash the thumbs up, leave a thumbs up, and subscribe to Ballard Sports Media. And also, the Mayhem Matthew channel is under construction. Please subscribe to me as well. We are going to get into bigger and better things on my channel. Just got to wait a couple days. I got some things lined up. So subscribe to Mayhem Matthew channel. And much appreciated. Subscribe to the Ballard Sports Media channel as well. Let's go ahead and kick it right on off. This is a hot button subject, Ballard. This is a very hot button subject. You don't want to touch it too much, but you don't want to back away from it, okay? So this is from First Take, I believe it is. Yeah, I believe this is First Take with Stephen A. Smith and Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark says Shedeur Sanders is under fire from critics because of the color of his skin. Quote, "It is not just about him being Deion Sanders' son. It's about the bravado he carries. It's about the fact he looks a certain way. It is about the fact that the color of his skin sometimes at the position can be questioned." I'm going to give it right on you. I'm going to give it to you, Ballard. Let me know your thoughts on this quote and on this subject.
Why? Like, I mean, I don't really know where to start, man. I mean, why does everything have to come back to race? Why?
I don't know, man. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you my thoughts on this, okay?
All right, come back to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you my thoughts. You know, not everything has to be about race. We have seen great black quarterbacks at the position. One that comes to mind, Cam Newton, right? We have seen just, I can name a bunch of them. Russell Wilson, Super Bowl winning, quarterback.
Lamar Jackson's MVP like two times, right?
Yeah, Lamar Jackson.
Mahomes is technically black, isn't he?
I think he's mixed.
I don't know what. Either way, he's not white. I'm not trying to be.
But
anyway.
my point is that we have seen a ton of great black African American, quarterbacks. And why is this a subject of race? Shador Sanders is not, he's saying that he's sliding down the draft, but honestly, Shador Sanders is not going to go outside of the top 10. This is the Touchdowns Live show where we make hot takes and stuff like. I don't think that's a hot take though, Ballard. I do not think Shador Sanders is going to go outside of the top 10. And guess what? I also believe that the number one pick overall probably will be a black quarterback, Cameron Ward.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that gets me too, Mayhem, is they're saying all this racist, or not that it is racist, excuse me. They're saying all this stuff about race when it comes to Shador Sanders, saying, well, his stock is dropping because he's black. You ain't saying that about Cam Ward. He's black. So,
Exactly.
like, and Travis Hunter is black. He's
Yeah.
not dropping either, is he? Dummies. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think what Ryan Clark is talking about is the position of quarterback. But yeah,
right.
I completely understand what you're saying as well. Let's set aside the position quarterback. Look at all these positions. And I don't know how else to say this, but most of them are, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it, but most of them are black. And,
Yes.
the quarterback position a long time ago was that big body white guy that, was not mobile. That's the style back in like 2008, 2009, 2010 or whatever. But we have moved on past that. We are in the era of like the Lamar Jacksons and the Shador Sanders and the Cameron Wards and even Michael Vick. What about Michael
Yeah.
Vick? We're in that era of football now where you need a very fast, very physical, very tough quarterback, and a lot of them are black. I don't know how else to say that. We're talking about the subject here, but I'm gonna be honest with you, Ballard. I do not think that whenever we're debating on like Shador Sanders stock dropping or rising or whoever the person is, it should not be based off of race. Why is Ryan Clark coming on here and trying to what I call race bait on television? Why is he doing that? I thought
Click,
that
click, 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 click,
yeah,
click, click.
it is.
That's what this is, Mayhem. It's
Clickbait.
all for show.
It's clickbait. It's race bait. Ryan Clark is the only one that I've seen talk about the race card, pulling the race card. It is so crazy how we have a ton of black athletes that get a lot of praise and a lot of um, a lot of praise for what they do and what they have accomplished, and we continue to come on to the internet and say it's about him being a person of color. Like, it just, I'm gonna be honest with you, it does tick me off because as a white guy, I'm not looking at that. I'm not looking at race. I'm not looking at. I like to watch football. I like to talk about football. I don't care if you're white or black or Mexican or purple or green or yellow. I don't care about that.
Right.
Okay? So for Ryan Clark to come on here talking about, the reason why his stock is dropping is because he's black. Hello? How about there's just other players that are better than him? Like Cameron Ward, a black quarterback.
Oh, you want to get into it a little bit, Mayhem. What year was it Daniel Jones was drafted over Dwayne Haskins for the Giants, and they got really pissed off because, oh, Dave Gettleman and the Giants are racist because they didn't take a black quarterback. Like, what? Now, I don't know. I don't know what was true about that or not. I don't know. But I bring that up to say this is nothing new within the media world of the NFL. It's nothing new. No matter what happens, no matter like how do I want to put this? Somebody's gonna be ticked off one way or another. Who's drafted first at quarterback, Cam Ward or Shador Sanders? And again, like you pointed out, Mayhem, both Ward and Sanders are black quarterbacks. That's fair.
Yeah, you got people like Pat McAfee and Dan Orlovsky saying that Cameron Ward's going number one. Is simple. You got Zach Smith, Coach Zach Smith, he said this, and I quote, I'm quoting Zach Smith here. I've been saying that's why Cam Ward is going number one overall because he's a white kid. He's being sarcastic here, obviously. But he's upset about the race baiting, clickbaiting, whatever you want to call it, right? I just look, Shador Sanders is a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. That's a fact. I didn't think he was ever going to go number one overall. I thought it would either be Cam Ward or Travis Hunter. I never thought that Travis Hunter was going number one overall, and it had nothing to do with his race. Had nothing to do with that. It's just there are better athletes and players than him. And yes, he's Deion Sanders' son. Congratulations. He's a great athlete. Congratulations. He's going top 10 overall. And guess what? He's going to be going over a ton of white people, white players. He's going to be top 10. Out of them 10, how many of those are going to be white players? I don't know. But if I was a betting man, I'd be willing to bet that it would be less white people in the top 10 than other races. And I'm not saying that to start controversy or anything like that. I'm just saying that to prove my point that this whole race baiting is why the world thinks like it does, because you got Ryan Clark, a sportscaster on television. He is an influencer to younger black kids, and he's telling these younger black kids that are watching him on ESPN, hey, the reason why Shador Sanders is falling in his draft stock is because he's black. And then these black kids are listening to that, soaking it in, and they're listening to Ryan Clark, and they're believing what he's saying. So then they're going to grow up, and they're going to believe that that's how it always is. And for the rest of eternity, until this completely stops, we're always going to have this nonsense. So my last and final words on this subject is Ryan Clark, stop this nonsense. Okay? It's bigger than black and white. It is. It's bigger than color. It's about the game of football and what we love that brings us together.
Exactly. And some guys are systematic. And what I mean, if, like, okay, if you draft a guy and he's white over a guy that's black, does that make you a racist? No. Is it possible that maybe someone is a racist? It's possible. Yeah, it is possible. But that's not what that means. That means you just think he's going to be a better player for you, not overall, not like I can't think. I don't know. Think of a white player over a black player, and it's not. Whoa, this white guy's better than this black guy. That's not necessarily how it is. I mean, he could be. I mean, guys are just better than others in football, but that's not. I refuse to believe that's ever the coach's thought process. It's this is the guy. Let's focus on him. Forget these other guys real quick. This is our guy, and he's going to fit this position of need for us.
I'm so tired of the race bait, the clickbait on race and stuff like that. If I know racism is never going to completely go away. I understand that. I'm not going to be delusional and act like that racism is always going to be gone forever. I'm not going to act like that, right? Because you're always going to have racist people in the world. But that also means you're going to have white racists, you're going to have black racists, you're going to have Mexican racists, you're going to have, whatever racist. You're going to have every single race is going to have a little bit of racism within it, and you're never going to get rid of that. But if you want to minimize, racism, the first thing you got to do is stop having Ryan Clark, a influencer, a sportscaster on ESPN, talking about Shador Sanders' draft stock falling because he's black. Whenever you have the number one overall, pretty much draft pick is going to be Cam Ward, and he's black. I mean, make it make sense, guys. Make it make sense. Do you want racism to go down, or do you want to keep on having this conversation about race and racism? And do you want to forever live in this turmoil where you're divided? Or do you want to come together about with something that we all love, and that is the sport of football, and set aside race and enjoy the game of football that we love together? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I gotta say about that, man. It really heats me up because we're living in 2025 and we're still having journalists, broadcasters, influencers talk about how whites are getting the better of every other race. It's sickening to me. It's very sickening to me because we need to be together. We need to be as one. And yeah, I know history and what is done, and we got to move on, man. We got to move on. Seriously. Like, we need to be equal. Like, I need to be equal to the next man and the next woman. It don't matter if they're black. They don't matter if they're Mexican. It don't matter if they're white. It doesn't matter if they're Asian. We need to be equally as one. And honestly, we just need to know that and we need to come together, man. We need to stick together and take down these people that use race as clickbait and rage bait and race bait, whatever you want to call it. We need to take them down, man, because it's 2025, man. It's 2025. That's just the honest truth. I mean, I know there are some racists out there. I get it. I understand that. But if you talk to your average normal person, it don't matter what color they are, they're probably not racist.
Yeah.
We're living in 2025, bro. Like Shador Sanders is not having his draft stock falling because he's black. It has nothing to do with that. Maybe because there's other players and black players also that are better than him. How about that?
Fair enough.
All right, let's talk about the next one.
Okay. Let's see. um, I don't know. Where do you want to go next? You want to talk about this LeBron James and Stephen A. beef, or you want to save that?
Yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah, sure.
All right, get into it, man. What are they beefing about? What are they cooking?
So, let me pull it up real quick. All right, so Stephen A. Smith was courtside with LeBron James last week, and well, LeBron James had a few words for Stephen A. Smith because Stephen A. Smith was talking about, well, two things. He was talking about LeBron, but he was also talking about Bronny James, which is LeBron's son, LeBron James' son, right? So initially, Stephen A. Smith appeared empathetic about his gripe. However, Stephen A. Smith expanded on his thoughts this week, calling the Los Angeles Lakers superstar's approach about the issue, quote, weak. All right. The following day, during an appearance on First Take, Smith called the interaction unexpected, but he said he did not harbor any ill will towards James because he understood the position he was in. Quote, this is a quote, that wasn't a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in that regard. By all accounts, he's obviously a wonderful family man and a father who cares very, very deeply about his son. And based on some of the comments that he had heard, shall I say, I think that he thought he heard, clearly took the exception to some of the things he heard me say. He confronted me about it. However, another viral video of James discussing the confrontation with former teammate Richard Jefferson has reignited the issue. Quote, I thought it was weak. I thought it was some bull jive, but in the moment I knew that I was listening to a father, Smith said Tuesday during an appearance on the Gills Arena podcast. Smith reiterated that he was caught off guard by the confrontation, and he expanded the conversation he had with James. This is exactly what LeBron James said to Stephen A. Smith whenever he confronted him. He said, yo, you got to stop talking ish about my son. You got to stop blanking with my son. That's my son. That's my son, Smith said. The initial confrontation was about James thought Smith said. The initial confrontation was what James thought Smith had said about his son, which is why he was surprised. Quote, I thought that he misrepresented the argument. I was glad he did, Smith continued, because what he was really talking about, which was confirmed with conversation with Richard Jefferson, is that I was talking about him as a father. Had he said that to me, I wouldn't have been thrown off. I would have came right back at him. Yes, I was talking about you. You did this ish. All right. I'm not very good at reading, but basically what happened is Stephen A. Smith was talking about LeBron James and how he did this to Bronny James, his son, because his son is absolute hot dog water in the NBA, and how he sucks and he's trash and he's garbage at basketball in NBA, right? And that Stephen A. Smith has said that, yeah, Bronny James had a pretty good career in college, but he's not no good in the NBA, and the only reason why he's in the NBA is because of his father. So then Stephen A. Smith was courtside at a basketball game. I think I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was versus the Knicks, Lakers versus the Knicks. LeBron James saw Stephen A. Smith, confronted him. Stephen A. Smith was caught off guard, and then he came back online talking some bull jive some more about LeBron James and Bronny James, and then he went on a podcast, the Gilbert Arenas podcast, and was talking about how if he wasn't caught off guard, then he would have definitely told him to his face, yeah, I said that, yeah, I'm still talking my ish and stuff like that. So, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I think that let me get this straight. So Stephen A. said some words about Bronny James, LeBron's son.
How he's garbage?
LeBron did, yeah. Now I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen Bronny play yet, but I have. I know about LeBron James and Bronny and being with the Lakers and everything like that. We know how good LeBron is. It's I don't think we'll ever get to a point with Bronny James where it's like, oh, he's just like his dad, or he's close.
Well,
I don't think anyone would ever come close to that. Now, to the Stephen A. Smith side, um, he's doing his job as a reporter and as someone that gives opinions. I mean, he's doing his job on First Take. Now, at the same time, I'm gonna catch some crap for this. I think. I think LeBron James was not in the wrong for defending and standing up for his son. I feel that way because I think you got to do that as a dad.
I think
Um,
I'm gonna say this. I don't mean to,
well, I don't see how Stephen A's wrong for voicing his
but
opinion,
I'm gonna
and then
let me say
LeBron
this.
for sticking up.
Yeah, let me say this. I don't mean to cut you off, but
You're good.
I'm cooking right now. I feel like two things can be true at the same time. Just like you said, Stephen A was not wrong for what he said. Being the reporter and the ESPN sports guy on television and saying what he said and his feelings, and then also on the other hand, I don't think LeBron James is wrong for doing what he did. So I totally agree with you there. But speaking of Bronny James, he's played in like 18 games, and you won't believe this, but this whole season, 18 games played, he only has 1.4 points of the season. His rebounds is 0.4. His assist is 0.4, and field goal percentage, he's 25.8% field goal percentage. So he's butt cheeks.
Oh yeah.
I mean, bro, numbers don't lie, bro.
Oh, I know.
I mean, he
I
has.
know he's. I know he's cheeks.
I mean, bro has played in 18 games and only comes away with 1.4 points. I believe I could get 1.4 points. I really
Yeah.
do believe I could get 1.4 points in 18 games. 18 games? Averaging 1.4 points? I could do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I do believe I could do that right now. He's hot dog water. He had, bro, he had 2 points. His last 1, 2, 3, like his last 4 or 5 games, he had 2 points, 9 points, 3 points, 2 points, 5 points. He's averaging 1.4 points. I could do that.
And he's playing every game. It's not like he's not getting tied. Like they're giving him the ball, the dude. He just can't. He can't come away with anything. That's fair.
Yep. I mean, I think both of them are in the right. I think this, I am going to say this. I think both of them are wrong that they shouldn't have put this on the internet. I think this is, come on, bro. You know Stephen A. and LeBron James has each other's phone number. You know that, right? I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this could have been a phone call and not made public. I think this should have been a phone call. LeBron James calling up Stephen A. saying, "Hey, bro, I don't like what you're doing on First Take. I don't like the comments that you made. Let's talk about this." And then if Stephen A. on the phone says, "Screw you, I'm gonna keep on doing it," then maybe LeBron James goes and does what he did, and then that's it, right? But I think this beef could have been settled like over a phone call. It didn't have to do what it did, right?
Right.
But anyways, you wanna go to the next topic?
Yeah, let's do it. So, next topic here, we want to talk a couple different things tonight. Let's let's see. I think all of my notes are out of order. I don't know. I'll let you lead it. But whatever you want to talk about, mayhem.
All right, let's do the NFL frenzy.
Yeah. We'll just kind of start going there. That's really what I have the notes on. But so okay, if that's the case, Chris Godwin, we've waited for this moment as Buccaneer fans. He has signed with
Bro,
the
I thought you
Bucks.
said, bro, I'm sorry. I
What?
thought you said something else.
What?
My bad.
What did you think I said? What did I do?
I thought you said not Buccaneers, but the F word.
No. No.
That's
I
what,
hope
bro.
I didn't.
No,
I
you
hope
didn't.
I didn't.
I don't think you did, but that's what it sounded like.
Anyway, the Buccaneers, okay, sign Chris Godwin, re sign him to a 4-year deal. That being said, this is something that has been, I don't want to say there's been drama, um, but I I think we kind of expected this in a way. We also kind of would have expected the Bucks to have let him walk and let him go somewhere else. He is re-signing on a really good deal, 3 years. This was a couple days ago. Jenna Lane put this out on ESPN. 66 million guaranteed, or 66 million, 44 million guaranteed. They had told Adam Schefter this the other day on Monday when the news broke, and they decided to keep him. Jason Light, the general manager for the Bucks, said Chris has been crucial to our success, and we are excited to ensure he remains a part of our offensive core into the future. He has an unparalleled work ethic, is a tremendous leader, and is pro in every sense of the word. His versatility combined with his playmaking ability and consistency makes him a perfect fit for our offense. Now, the only thing I don't get anybody out there that says this was a bad decision for the Bucks. I don't. I got to get your thoughts on this. I know there were rumors that he could have ended up with the Steelers. There were some of those rumors if they let him go. But he does end up staying on a 2-year deal. It's not super long on the contract, but I think this is what's best for him and Tampa Bay. I feel like the Bucks can't afford to lose him. Now they could go in the draft and they could get a really good receiver out there, or wait till next year or something, or they could make trades. But I feel like he's just meant a lot to the Tampa Bay nation, and I mean, the dude won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl with the Bucks. He's been a Pro Bowler. Uh he's just done so much, and I'm glad that they brought him back. What's your thoughts?
Do you want to know my thoughts?
Probably not now.
I think bro is washed and needs to retire, bro.
Really?
Yeah,
He's washed?
I think he is.
Why?
I think bro's washed.
Why?
I mean, the best receiver y'all have is Mike Evans, and without
I
Mike,
never I never denied that, nor did I say that Godwin um was the best.
let's take a look at Godwin's Chris Godwin. I think bro is washed, man. Let's take a look at some of his numbers. He's 29 years old. Mm, he couldn't have had some great numbers. I mean, I don't know his numbers, but let's check them out real quick while I wait for this to load. Yeah, bro is washed for sure. Let's take a look at his stats. So, I mean,
He's had 4 1,000-yard seasons with the Bucks.
and then last year
Probably
happened,
8. Yeah,
and then last year happened.
you're gonna base it off of last year? Are you
I
kidding
mean,
me? The
so
dude has a freaking injury. Go ahead.
2007, 2017, he had 525 yards. Then he had 842. Then he had 1,000 yard. Then he had 840, and then he had a string of 1,000 yard, yards. But yeah, he had an injury. Okay, so what's he going to do this year? He's just going to go back to having 1,000 yard receiving. I mean, is that how that goes off off an injury? And you're knocking on 30. You're going to be 30 years old next season. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. He's going back to the 2017 days of only having 576 yards. Yeah, he only played in 7 games. I understand that, but I don't know, man. I don't know if he. I mean, there's a reason why it took so long to re-sign him and stuff like that. I mean, they were really contemplating this. I don't know how bad the injury was. I mean, he only played in 7 games, so it had to be pretty bad. Can he bounce back from that? That remains to be seen. But my hot take here on the Touchdowns Live show is he don't have 1,000-yard season in 2025. He probably have somewhere between 5 and 6, maybe 700 yards at most. 700 yards rushing. I mean, receiving. Um, I just don't see him, being on the level that he once was from the stretch of 2021 to 2023. I don't see it. Who was the quarterback in 2021 for Tampa Bay?
Oh, Brady come back,
Okay, who was the quarterback in
and
2020?
they had Gronk.
Who was the quarterback in 2022 for Tampa Bay?
Brady,
And then the last 2 years was
Baker
Baker.
Mayfield. Yeah,
So out of them 3 1,000-yard receiving seasons that he had, 2 of them were he was getting the ball thrown to the greatest quarterback of all time in Tom Brady, right? Yeah, he had a good 2023 and he got injured in 2024, but I don't know, man. He's pushing 30. He had an injury, and it's all going to go downhill from here. It's going to go downhill from here. Um, he might have 600 or 700 yards receiving, but that's about it. He's a middle of the road wide receiver, and that's how I feel. He's becoming washed up, and I'll be the first one to say that.
you see a path where he can land with the team and get better.
What's that?
Huh?
What did you say?
Do you see a path where Godwin can land with the right team, or even if, which he is staying with the Bucks, but like
What was the deal that he just struck?
4 years
4 years.
or hold on, 3 years. Sorry,
That'll be. Here's a hot take for you. That'll be the last 3 years of Chris Godwin's career at the Bucks.
at the Bucks.
Yep, that'll be his last 3 years. Enjoy it while you can, having a middle of the road wide receiver.
All right.
I mean, he's going to be 30 years old. He already sustained an injury, a pretty good injury because he only played 7 games. I think now, this is the back half of his career, and this is where it starts becoming a downhill trajectory for Chris Godwin. But bro is no Mike Evans. You know what I mean? Now, if we were talking about Mike Evans getting re-signed or whatever, then that'll be a whole different conversation. But we're talking about Chris Godwin here. But that's just my thoughts on it. I mean, he's a decent, he's a pretty good player. Give him props for having the couple of 1,000-yard seasons. But I think 2 of them seasons were outliers because he had the greatest of all time quarterback throwing him the football, and then give him props for 2023 season, and then 2024 he has an injury, which I know is a part of football, but this is kind of like the downhill spiral of Chris Godwin. Yes, he can make a comeback. Of course, he can get 100% healthy and prove me wrong, but this is the Touchdowns Live. We really have gotten away from making hot takes on this live stream, and I'm bringing it back today. I'm bringing it back, and um, he's not even going to be your second best receiver next year.
He might not be. I mean, if the Bucks got a rookie in the draft or something, obviously you got Mike Evans. You never know. I mean, even if he's not, like he's like you the fact that you have the audacity to sit there and call him washed up, like really, dude?
Listen,
You know good and well you would have been happy and high on the hog had the Steelers signed him.
no, not even. I would have been
You're
upset.
smiling while you shake your head.
I would have
You
been upset. I'm serious. I'm
Okay.
laughing. I'm laughing because it's comical that you really think I'd have been happy about that. I'd rather have Brandon Ayuk join the Steelers. I would rather have Deontay Johnson come back to the Steelers. I would have had Mike Williams come back to the Steelers. There's a ton of wide receivers I would choose before I would choose a wide receiver that's going into the NFL draft of this year, a rookie, before I grabbed a 30-year-old man in Chris Godwin that just came off of an injury.
Let's move forward.
I got a question.
About what?
Whenever you're washing clothes, whenever you do clothes, you have your favorite t-shirt, right? This could be my favorite t-shirt. If
Right.
I keep on putting it in the washing machine and I keep on washing it and washing it and washing it and washing it, eventually this t-shirt's not going to be the same as it was when I first bought it. Number one, all t-shirts shrink a little bit whenever you put them in the washer and the dryer. They shrink. Number two, they get washed up. And that's what we're looking at with Chris Godwin here.
Okay. Mac Jones is heading to the 49ers on a 2-year deal. What do you think about that one?
Okay, so I'm gonna ease up a little bit on my hot takes, okay? But I'm still gonna give you some hot takes because this is what the Touchdowns Live show was built for, man. I think Mac Jones is a pretty good quarterback. I think he is, you know, an average quarterback that can not lose you games. I think Mac Jones is a quarterback that can like be like a what's it called, like a general, a field general, right? And he can not lose the game for you. He's not going to throw a lot of interceptions. He's not going to fumble the ball. He's not going to make the wrong reads and stuff like that. He is going to be your type of quarterback that can honestly lead the way. And I like Mac Jones. I really do. Um, I know he got a lot of hate whenever he was on the Patriots, but I just feel like that was towards the end of Bill Belichick's coaching career in the Patriots. Everything was kind of spiraling down. They got Mac Jones. People didn't want Mac Jones. They wanted Bailey Zappi. And then Bailey Zappi turned out to be an interception thrower. And then they wanted Mac Jones back. And then Mac Jones had an injury. And then I just felt like the years that he did play under the Patriots was not really the story that we need to tell of Mac Jones. I think he's a bit better than what the Patriots portrayed him as and what the media portrayed him as whenever he played for the Patriots. Now, where's he going again?
Mac Jones is going. Let me pull it up. Hold on. He was with the Jaguars. 49ers.
So yeah, I think that under whenever he was at the Jaguars, we really didn't hear about him. He was like a backup quarterback, so we really didn't hear much of Mac Jones because Trevor Lawrence was leading the way for the Jaguars there, and so we really didn't hear much Mac Jones, but he's going to the 49ers, and 49ers have Brock Purdy as their starting quarterback, and I think that Mac Jones can learn a lot from Brock Purdy, as Brock Purdy has been in Super Bowl. He's been in a Super Bowl before. He knows what it takes to lead the way, and I feel like, honestly, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Brock Purdy and Mac Jones have a lot in common, and one big thing that they have in common is that they can be a quarterback for an NFL team that they don't have to win you the game, not necessarily, but they can do their job, right? So, and the best example I can give you is, like, let's just say you're working for Walmart, right? You don't have to be the best cashier to be a cashier. You don't have to be the best one out there. You just have to be one, and you have to do it
Yep.
correctly, right? You don't have to be the best stocker at Walmart. You just have to be a stalker. You just have to do your job. You have to play your part. And that's exactly what Purdy does with the 49ers. And that's why the 49ers has had a lot of success, because he was a quarterback manager. He was basically like a field manager out there doing his job as quarterback, but he didn't do anything spectacular. He's not some amazing quarterback. He just has amazing players around him, right? Like
Mhm.
Ayuk, Brandon Ayuk. He had George Kittle. He had Christian McCaffrey, right? Um, and that's just a little bit of players. He had Debo Samuel on the defensive side of the ball. That's just a couple of players that I know right off the top of my head. I'm sure there's a lot more. He had a great offensive line. This past year, we saw a lot of injuries with the 49ers, and that's why they did not do so hot this past year, due to a lot of injuries to a lot of players. But I feel like Mac Jones can learn from a Brock Purdy, because they gel really well together, because they are kind of one and the same type of quarterback, where yes, Mac Jones is not like some, flashy new toy that you want to play with, and you want him to throw 50-yard bombs and do all this Pat Mahomes type stuff, right? Do the one-handed throws, or do the no look passes and stuff like that, like Stafford and Patrick Mahomes does, right? He's not going to be that type of flashy quarterback, or he's not going to be the quarterback that can get you a win, because, but he can be a quarterback if everybody's playing their part, if everybody's doing their job. He can do his job and y'all will win the game. Now, if nobody's doing their job, then guys like Purdy and a guy like Mac Jones, they're not going to be able to win you a football game. They're not going to be able to get outside that pocket and get a first down on a third down and long, like Patrick Mahomes can. They're not going to be able to do a no look pass and trick the defense. They're not going to be able to, be that guy like the Tom Brady's and the Patrick Mahomes and even the Josh Allens of the world. But
Mhm.
Matt Jones to the 49ers is a great move for him, because he can learn under Brock Purdy, because Brock Purdy and him are pretty much one and the same type of quarterback.
I could see that. I could see the similarities between Brock and Mac Jones. I just I'll be the first to admit, like I I don't think that Mac is a starter in the NFL. Now, is he a quarterback? Sure. Is he good? Yeah. I don't think he's ready to start anywhere right now, but I feel like he doesn't just need to learn from like a veteran or something. He needs to learn from the type of quarterback that he is starting and having success.
For sure. You want to go ahead and talk about? Let's go ahead and talk about um, Steelers pick up free agent cornerback Darius Slay reached an agreement on 1 year, fully guaranteed $10 million deal with the Steelers. Deal negotiated by Drew Rosenhaus and Robert Bailey. I cannot believe the Eagles released him. Honestly, this is a huge pickup for the Steelers. The Steelers already have an elite defense. This just adds on to the eliteness that the Steelers have. The Steelers, and here's another hot take. I don't think it's a hot take, but some people might think it's a hot take here. The Steelers could have the best, and probably will have the best defense uh, this upcoming season in 2025. The addition to Darius Slay, he can play multiple positions in on defense. He is very versatile. He is very elusive. He is very athletic. And Darius Slay, man, that is a huge pickup for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I want to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so the Steelers get what they needed position wise. Um, I, I guess I could see where this is a really good fit. You know, I think that the Steelers have a lot of great talent, and this just adds to it. Now they need to find a way to win on the field. When you look at what the Steelers bring in um, with this trade, or not trade, but signing Darius Slay, um, it helps with the defense. It helps with the depth, but I do think that he's going to be a huge asset and day one starter. He was with the Eagles, winning a Super Bowl, and he has a lot of great skill and experience. Three-time Pro Bowler selection. Um, I mean, what hasn't he done? So
Yeah, this guy is tremendous. I mean, I can't believe that the Eagles let him go. I mean, he was a big part of the success that Eagles defense had, and man, picking up Darius Slay is awesome, man. Let's talk about some more Steelers news, right? Steelers still don't have that quarterback, right? Which leads us to two more topics for sure. Um, Russell Wilson is now a free agent. He is scheduled to fly tonight. He's probably already there to Cleveland to visit with the Browns. And on Thursday, before being scheduled to fly to New York on Thursday night to visit Friday with the Giants. So he's gonna have a couple of busy nights. He's gonna fly. He's probably already in Cleveland now, getting some rest to wake up in the morning to meet with the Browns, and then that night he'll be flying to New York to meet with the Giants. So the question is, um, what's the better fit for Russell Wilson here now that the Steelers have parted ways with Russell Wilson, and I am so happy that they did. Um, what's kind of the what do you think is the right pick? Giants or Browns?
Mm, I think either one could work. I I could see the Giants working out though.
I you
I
know
mean,
I'm going to actually agree with you on this.
yeah.
I was going to say that.
I don't
I
know,
really,
man. I just think that like Daniel Jones experiments practically like over with, and I mean the Giants desperately need a quarterback, and it's possible they pick one up. I think that they are looking at Shador or Cam in the draft, and if not, are they looking to get Travis Hunter? I mean, do they not go quarterback in round one? They need help and they need to rebuild their offense. And it always starts with the quarterback. And Russell Wilson, very much experienced with the Broncos, the Steelers, and the Seahawks, of course. Um, just really, really good. Been in the league for quite some time. Nowhere near the thought of trying to retire from the NFL, from my understanding. He wants to keep playing, and I think the Giants could be that good fit. I think they have some good weapons at the Giants right now, and I think all they need is a leader.
yeah. And here's another thing, Ballard. Russell Wilson, another washed up quarterback, and yes, he was on my Steelers last year, and I'm happy to see him move on from the Steelers. And you know, I'm saying this about Russell Wilson. He was a elite talent whenever he was younger, but he's not the same Russell Wilson as prime Russell Wilson in the Seahawks, right? I mean, he's just not the same guy. I have seen flashes of him being really good, and like, man, we're finally going to get this type of Russell Wilson back. Or, I seen flashes of that last season, but ultimately, like, let's just be honest, Russell Wilson is washed up too. He's another one of these washed up guys that I think he can still play. And yeah, he might be healthy, he might be in shape to play. And yeah, he's better than me, but that ain't really saying much. But I really do think the Giants is the better fit for Russell Wilson here. I really do. And I'll tell you why. Because let's just say you were talking about the NFL draft. What if they do pick up a quarterback, and let's just say it's Shador Sanders, right? Shador Sanders, wouldn't that be like a top 5 pick there? Um, ain't that right, Ryan
Yeah.
Clark? Ain't that right, Ryan Clark? He'd be a top 5 pick if he went to the Giants. Yeah. But anyways, so let's just say he goes to the Giants. The Giants then draft Shador Sanders. Shador Sanders can learn a lot from Russell Wilson. A veteran in the game, being in the game this long, Russell Wilson, he might be washed up himself, but he's not washed up as far as being mentally smart about the game of football, and he's very intelligent about the game of football, and he can give a lot of knowledge and spread knowledge to a guy like Shador Sanders, and I think that would be a perfect 1-2 punch. He can, Russell Wilson can come in for a few years. They can sign him to a 2-year deal or something like that, maybe even a 1-year deal, and let Shador Sanders be a sponge and soak up all the knowledge that Russell Wilson has, and let Russell Wilson let Shador Sanders go under the wing of Russell Wilson, a great in the NFL. Um, Also, Russell Wilson is a black NFL quarterback, by the way. Ryan
Mhm.
Clark. But yeah, this would be a match made in heaven. Russell Wilson can come in there um, and mentor Shador Sanders, and then Shador Sanders, as Russell Wilson is leaving, maybe we can see Shador Sanders start his first career start for the Giants, and maybe he can be the franchise guy that the New York Giants wants. But I am going to say this. This is another one of these takes. I'm on a roll today with these takes, Ballard. By the way,
Oh
um,
yeah,
I am on the belief. I'm of the belief that Daniel Jones should have never got released or whatever uh, by the Giants. That was a terrible move. And Daniel Jones just got picked up by the Indianapolis Colts, so he's going to be the starter for the Indianapolis Colts, assumingly. And the Indianapolis Colts is going to prove to you why that the New York Giants made a huge mistake getting rid of Daniel Dimes. I mean, why do you think they call him Danny Dimes? Because he just throws nothing but dimes. That guy is good. And the Indianapolis Colts are going to use him a lot better than the New York Giants did. And, can you really trust the New York Giants to do the right thing after they got rid of Saquon Barkley? And then Saquon Barkley then goes to have like a elite year, probably one of the best, probably a top 5 best years that any running back has ever had ever. I don't know how many yards did he have. He had over 2,000 yards, right, rushing in the
yeah,
season. I mean, this
yep,
guy was averaging what? I don't know how many yards. He had like 100 yards per game, over 100 yards per game in like every single game that he played in, right or wrong? I don't know, but I'll tell you what I do know. What I do know is that I don't know if you can trust New York Giants to make the right decision, to make the right call, and go out and get Russell Wilson and go out and draft Shador Sanders so they can learn, that so that Shador Sanders can learn from a veteran like Russell Wilson. I don't know if they can make that decision because, like I said, they should have never got rid of Danny Dimes. They should have never got rid of Saquon Barkley. What they should have done was go out and get some receivers for Danny Dimes, um, and build around Danny Dimes. And what they should have done was bulk up their offensive line so that Saquon Barkley can run through somebody, and then we would be talking about the New York Giants possibly being a Super Bowl contender. But here we are talking about New York Giants, what they should do to rebuild their program to get out of the ish that they're in now.
yeah. The Giants need a lot of rebuilding on mainly the offense. Um, a little bit on defense, not too much though. I I don't know, man. The Giants have been going around in circles with this whole quarterback deal and Daniel Jones and everything like what feels like forever.
I mean,
And now he's gone, which if you're the Giants, I would be thankful for that.
I totally disagree with you, man. I mean, they should have kept Danny Dimes. They should have kept him. I mean, you have to build. It don't matter what quarterback you get. If you don't have any wide receivers to throw to, if you don't have any offensive line to block for you, if you don't have the key players that you need to make the quarterback successful, it's not going to work out. And if you don't believe me, how about you just call up the San Francisco 49ers and ask them how they're doing with the last pick of the whole entire draft a couple years ago of Brock Purdy, right? I mean,
Mm.
he is not the best quarterback in the world, and I bet you if you put Brock Purdy on the Giants, he would be straight dumpster juice. But the reason why Brock Purdy has had a lot of success is because he has the special players and the key players around him to make him successful. And that's exactly what Danny Dimes needed, and that's what he's going to get in the Indianapolis Colts, because he is now a Colts baby, and the Colts are going to be really good this upcoming season with Danny Dimes. And then I hope that he has one of them seasons that Saquon had, but in the quarterback position, and just that will be a really bad look for the Giants, considering that they had both of them on their team at one point in time. But let's talk about, speaking of quarterbacks and stuff like that, let's go ahead and talk about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has been released from the Jets. So, so like I said, Aaron Rodgers has been released from the Jets. And there's a couple of teams looking at him. I've heard the Steelers talk about maybe potentially getting him. I've heard the Vikings talking about bringing him in, not as a starting quarterback, but as like a mentor, like a mentor role there, like a backup role, and being like a mentor to who did they get? Sam Darnold? No, not Sam Darnold. What quarterback did they get? I can't remember. Sam Darnold went to another team, but I think they picked up a quarterback there. But they're talking about having maybe possibly getting Aaron Rodgers to the Minnesota Vikings to be in a mentor type role, not the starting quarterback. But then the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking to make Aaron Rodgers their starting quarterback. So we're going to do the same type of game here. What's the perfect fit? Steelers or this mentor role, helping out the next generation of quarterbacks there in the Minnesota Vikings? I'll give you the floor.
Yeah, I think. I really don't know what the best path would be. But I think you need to give it a shot on the field and a little bit longer and see how it all works out.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't want Aaron Rodgers. There's a lot of sports influencers and sportscasters that are saying that Aaron Rodgers should go to the Steelers, and I'm just tired of the Steelers getting like you had Big Ben, and then you go to Mason Rudolph, which that was a disaster. And then you go to these old behind quarterbacks in like Russell Wilson. You go, who's the other old behind quarterback they had? I don't know, but you kept Ben Roethlisberger way too long. You go out and get Russell Wilson. Now you're talking about getting Aaron Rodgers. Like, I'm tired of getting these like really old quarterbacks. Like, what are we doing here? Oh, that was the other one was Mitch Trubisky. Like, bro, why are you getting him? What are you doing, Steelers? What are you doing, Coach T? What are you doing? Like, you made me really consider like going on YouTube talking about fire Coach T. Like, you really made me consider that after these quarterback decisions that you've been putting up. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, Mitch Trubisky, like Mason Rudolph, like Russell Wilson, bro. What's going on now? Aaron Rodgers, what are you doing? But yeah, Aaron Rodgers had a bad year last year. He's 40 years old. Like, he's a 40-year-old quarterback that probably is year to year on if he's even going to be a quarterback. You need something long term. Now, I have heard the rumblings about Anthony Richardson possibly, coming to the Steelers. Now, he's a young quarterback that has experience. He's not that good, but he can get better because he's still young. He can mature and he can develop into a great quarterback. And he has flashes of being a good quarterback with the Colts.
Right.
But you know, I just, bro, like I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is going to sound like a really hot take because it's coming out of my mouth. And it might sound crazy, but I would rather have Anthony Richardson struggle for a few years to try to find his footing, to find his game with the Steelers and struggle for a few years than to get Aaron Rodgers and have this terrible season. Like, yes, I understand that Aaron Rodgers can win like maybe 8 or 9, maybe 10 games, but that's about it. That's all you're going to get from Rodgers. Rodgers is a 40-something-year-old quarterback that needs to be in retirement, and he needs to get paid from Pat McAfee and go on his show every single, was it Thursday or Tuesday or whatever it is, and just talk about football. Like, you need to just pack it up, bro. Pack it up. Just go ahead and pack it up. That's why I think the better fit would be the Vikings. If what I'm reading is correct, want to bring him in as like a mentor role, not necessarily like the starting quarterback or anything like that. Just bring him in as a mentor role for the next generation of quarterbacks. That would be perfect. That would be the ideal move there with a 40-something-year-old quarterback. Have a lot of knowledge up here, very intelligent, but bro thought he was going to turn the Jets into a Super Bowl contending team, and he was highly mistaken. And the Jets, I mean, if I called the Jets up and I said, "Hey, do you think the Steelers should get Aaron Rodgers?" I bet you they would say, no, they shouldn't. Like this, I mean, I've heard Aaron Rodgers not show up to some type of practices and stuff like that, and because he's thinking he's the best or whatever and whatnot. But I don't know, man. I don't want Aaron Rodgers. I don't. I know Dan Orlovsky is fighting for Aaron Rodgers to go to the Steelers, and I don't know why. Bro, Dan, if you're watching, because I know you are, Dan Orlovsky, I would rather have you. I would rather have you, Dan, as a quarterback than Aaron Rodgers.
Wow.
Okay, I don't want Aaron Rodgers. Keep him away from the Steelers. We're going to have a great team. We also signed DK Metcalf. We also signed him. You know what I mean? Um,
He might be y'all's top receiver next year.
you
We'll
know,
see.
we said, we got DK Metcalf. We have George Pickens. We have Pat Fryermuth. We have now Najee Harris is not with us, but I'm sure we'll have another running back come in. But like, we need a quarterback to throw to George Pickens. We need a quarterback to throw to Pat Fryermuth. We need a quarterback to throw to DK Metcalf, and that quarterback cannot be Aaron Rodgers. It can't be. Just can't. And now I'm gonna say something else. Justin Fields should have never gotten released from the Steelers. What are you doing? Like, bro, the Jets are going to have a great season with with Justin Fields. I believe it. I think they're going to have a better record than what Aaron Rodgers had with the Jets with Justin Fields. Justin Fields is highly slept on, and he's very underrated. Yes, he's a very underrated quarterback. I wanted Justin Fields to start for the Steelers, and he did start for the Steelers because Russell Wilson was injured, and we were doing good. We had like 3 or 4 wins in a row. We get Russell Wilson, and then what? Trash. What are we doing? Yeah, Russell Wilson had some good games, but overall, the overall arcing of it, trash. Like, he didn't get any better from whenever he was at the Broncos. Let's ride. Yeah, let's ride you to a different team. I'm glad that Russell's gone. I need Aaron Rodgers out of the picture. He needs to go to the Minnesota Vikings, let them have that. Justin Fields needs to come back to the Steelers. He don't need to go to the Jets. I don't know why Steelers let him go. What's next for the Steelers? Who do I want? They're talking about, like I said, possibly getting Anthony Richardson. I've heard rumors about possibly getting Mason Rudolph to come back in a backup role. So he wouldn't be the starting quarterback, but he would be in a backup role. And what are you doing, Steelers? Bringing back Mason Rudolph. I thought we got rid of him. What are you doing? Like, bro, if it didn't work the first time, what makes you think it's going to work a second time? Stop it. But I'll get off my my little soapbox for that. But let's talk about Cooper Kupp. Talk about Cooper Kupp. He is now a free agent. Ain't that right? He got released by the Rams. Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's tenure in LA is officially over. 634 receptions, 7,776 yards, 57 touchdowns, Super Bowl MVP of LVI, NFL Offensive Player of the Year, most yards in a wide receiver by a wide receiver in a season, 1,965, most catches by a receiver in a single postseason with 33. Rams now officially have released wide receiver Cooper Kupp. They are designating Cooper Kupp as a post-June 1st cut, keeping his $29.78 million cap hit until June. At that point, they will take on dead cap hits of $14.78 million in 2025 and $7.48 million in 2026, while creating $15 million in cap space. I want to be honest, Cooper Kupp could start anywhere in the NFL. What's your thoughts? Well, I think that's going to wrap up this episode of Touchdowns Live. Subscribe to the Ballard Sports Media channel and subscribe to Mayhem Matthew channel, wherever you get your content. Like, comment, and subscribe.
From his family. Was out on the field pretty much the whole entire first half.
Got a lot of great games. I'm highlighting 2 SEC games.